Hi everyone, I'm Byron. I'm reviewing another episode of Family Ties. This has been so much fun watching these episodes. Uh, this one is I Never Killed for My Father. Now, I said last time that they pretty much all focused on the kids, but this one actually does focus on the parents. Specifically, it focuses on Stephen and his relationship with his father. Uh, Spoiler alert: the dad is dying. That's the basic plot of the book. The book. Sorry, the show. Basic plot of the show is that his dad's dying, and Stephen, of course, does not get along with his dad. His dad's, a rock-ribbed Republican. I think that's the thing. I don't know. Rock ribbed Republican. Does that sort of means? I think that means very Republican. That was in the movie Judgment at Nuremberg, where Spencer Tracy says, "I'm a rock-ribbed Republican who thought Roosevelt was a great man." And then the guy is saying to us, you're one of those, are you? That was funny. Anyway, uh, so he, it, the plot actually sort of repeats itself in the first and the second act. It's sort of the same plot twice, but it works. It works. So his dad's coming over, and he says, I'm going to get along with my dad. I'm going to say nice things, and we're just going to be friendly. And so he has these cards printed up. And he says, the printing press. One of them is the printing press, a step forward for mankind. And the other is crabgrass, friend or foe. And so that's pretty funny. And there's a problem. Oh, before he comes, he goes, oh no, your dad's like that. Oh crap, I only got light beer. I didn't get regular beer. It's like, no, it's fine. Dick Butt Kiss and Bubba Smith drink light beer. And so there's a great joke where Stephen meets his dad. His dad actually specifically says, "I would like a light beer." He doesn't even ask for a regular beer. He says, "I want a light beer." And Stephen's trying to make light conversation with his father so he doesn't start an argument. He's like, light beer. It's good because it's less filling. And then his dad goes, it's good because it tastes great. Yeah, but it's also less filling. It tastes great. Yeah, but surely you recognize it as less filling. It tastes great. And they have an argument like that. Like the commercial for the light beer that was, I guess, popular at the time. Anyway, so that's it. And then they sort of eventually, it's just too much. Stephen tries and tries and tries to be friendly. And eventually it's just too much. He's like, they really get it. Stephen sort of punches back and they really get into a fight. And then they find out. I recognize one of the Chinese characters because I have a browser open and I recognize one of the Chinese characters on my computer. This is a Chinese computer. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so he gets in and then they have a fight and they have a fight and they have a fight and eventually the dad lets it slip. The dad didn't actually want to tell him, but the dad lets it slip that he's dying. And he goes, I shouldn't have said that. He just wanted to. But after he knows he's dying, that's the end of Act 1, basically. And after that, Stephen, again, for a slightly different reason, tries to be really nice to his dad. And it's done in a different way. Whereas last time he just tried to avoid arguments. This time he really actively agrees with everything he says. He wants to take Alex out of school to go fishing because, of course, he's dying. He wants to spend the last day with his grandson. And he does. And they're talking, the scenes they have with just Elise and Stephen, because the dad specifically asks not to tell the grandkids that he's dying, so that the kids will be happy and will be able to remember that. And I remember when my grandmother died, no one told me. And it kind of hurt. Since I wasn't expecting it, it really hit me hard. But thinking back, maybe that was the right thing to do because I got over it. It was really rough, but I did get over it. And my grandma's last few days were, at least I was happy around her. Um, yeah, but my grandfather, even though no one told me, I knew. When I left, the last time I saw him, I kind of knew it would be the last time, and he was actually more open about it. I remember it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas. He says, "Well, this is probably going to be the last one," and it upset some people, but I was actually really okay with it because I liked being in the know, and I was grateful that he told me, and that's how I felt at the time. He didn't tell me. He actually was talking to, I forget who in the family he was talking to. He was talking to someone. He wasn't speaking directly to me. He was speaking directly to someone. But yeah, I was really grateful that he said that. So I don't know. Uh, I don't know what I would want as a kid when I was the grandson. I wanted to know. That was definitely, but I don't know. As the parent slash child, sort of the middle, I don't know what I would want, and as the grandparent, I don't really know what I would want. I mean, I know, as of course, as the grandparent, I would want them not to know. I would feel exactly the same way that I would rather have them be happy just for the last times I get to see them. Uh, but I would also be aware that it's going to hit them really hard when I do die. And but I also know from my experience that they would get over it, and that maybe, I mean, is this selfish? I don't know, but maybe me experiencing them happy the last few times would be more important than the long time they are sad, but that they will eventually get over. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, back to the episode. He's a jolly guy. He makes jokes about dying and stuff like that. Um, but he's jolly. And you know how I said that these episodes, if I just described the plot to you, you would not understand that it was a comedy. This is definitely one of those. But it's very funny, and part of it is because he's a jolly guy, and it's real. Like, a lot of guys are like that, and he was definitely that. Even though it was the fifth episode, and this is the last time you ever see this character for 20 minutes, it was very believable, and they really constructed him very well. This is just an amazing, amazing show. Um, Tom Hanks was on the show in a sort of similar capacity as a obscure family member, and that was actually probably the worst one. The worst character in the show ever was the one played by Tom Hanks. He just wasn't as believable. I I don't know. Maybe it's because I know who Tom Hanks is now that it doesn't really work as well. But Courtney Cox is in the last season, and she works very well, but she lasts the whole season. Anyway, I've really got off topic. He's a jolly guy, and it makes the episode funny. He's old and he's dying, so that's just less sad than if he was younger and he was dying. Uh, and there's a joke about so when Steven is just agreeing with everything, he mentions getting Alex a tattoo, and he says, uh, Alex, do what your grandfather. Alex doesn't want the tattoo. He's like, I'd rather not. And Steven goes, Alex, do what your grandfather says. Get the tattoo. And that was a good one. And that reminds me of one of the early ones where he's trying to, and then in the first act when he's trying to be nice with his father, he says, uh, and this is, I guess, one that fits maybe a bit more into the second act, but he actively goes against his own beliefs. Is he says, I've come to, he keeps calling hunting, the dad keeps talking about how his hunting trips, and Steven keeps slipping up and calling it his killing trips, because Steven doesn't approve of hunting. Uh, but then at some point he says, I've come to realize killing has its merits, which is funny. Because if he just had hunting, it would have made sense, but he said killing. So like I was saying earlier about the submitting. You say killing, no one who supports hunting would really call it killing. They would call it hunting, even though it is killing. They would just call it hunting because to their mind it's a different category than killing, especially people. Yeah. So again, I come to realize. So by saying killing, using the word killing, he clearly reveals what his viewpoint is, while at the same time, the sentence is the opposite of that viewpoint. So that's just a good joke. It's just a very well constructed joke. Having a single word that goes one way and the whole sentence going in a completely different direction. Anyway, so in the end, the dad comes back with Alex. They had a great time fishing, and Steven and his dad get in an argument. Like I said, in a lot of these episodes, great sitcoms based around families arguing with each other. And then Steven, they make up, and they make up this time. They make up for everything. The past two times they just made up for what happened in the episode. This time they made up for their entire lives together. So yeah, that was interesting. And at the end, there's a little throwaway line where Steve goes, I've been trying to remember that song you used to sing to me when I was a kid to help me go to sleep. I couldn't for the life of me remember it. And Jack goes, oh yeah, I think his name was Jack. I think the dad's name was Jack. And he goes, oh yeah, I'll tell it. I'll sing it to you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. And Steven's just irate. The Marine fight song? You sang the Marine fight song for me to go to bed? And he's like, hey, it worked. Yeah, I guess it did. We will fight our country's battles from sea, on the land and on the sea. I keep wanting to say from sea to shining sea. Anyway, great episode number 5. I can still remember which episode we're on. My camera's reversed, so I go this way, the thing goes the other way. Oh, you can tell from the shirt. No, wait, what? Oh, it's working like a mirror? No, it's not reversed. So that's why I can see. That's why it feels like it is reversed, because it doesn't work like a mirror. Yeah, so you can read star correctly. Yeah. So it's not reversed. My instinct is that it should be a mirror. So when I see my hand over here, I want to move it across the screen, I do this. Yeah. Anyway, we figured out how the camera works and how mirrors work. So tune in next time for another episode of Mirror Talk. Bye.